वेरी गुड आफ्टरनून डियर कॉलीग्स।
नमस्कार।
आप सभी का स्वयं प्रभा लाइव सेशन में स्वागत है। आप सभी को पता है कि ये NEP PDP नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी पे जो हमारा व्यावसायिक विकास कार्यक्रम प्रोफेशनल डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम चल रहा है वो इसका 9वां बैच है। और ये आज का ये हमारा जो बैच है उसका ये आज आखिरी सेशन है। आपको पता है कि हर एक बैच में हमने 6 सेशंस लाइव इंटरेक्टिव काउंसलिंग सेशन का रखा है स्वयं प्रभा चैनल पे। तो आज ये हमारा आखिरी लेक्चर है और इंटरेक्शन है बेसिकली आप लोगों के साथ। जो हमने पिछले 6 दिनों में विभिन्न मुद्दों पे नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी से जुड़े हुए जो टॉपिक्स हैं, जो थीम्स हैं, उस पर आपसे हम रूबरू हुए हैं और आपसे हमने बातें की हैं। तो इसी तरह की आज ये 6ठा जो है व्याख्यान है, डिस्कशन है, जो हम आपसे के सामने आज रखेंगे, शेयर करेंगे। और पिछले 5 दिनों में विभिन्न मुद्दों पे नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी से जुड़े विभिन्न थीम्स पे विषय पे बातचीत हुई है, जिसमें नेशनल क्रेडिट फ्रेमवर्क पे बातचीत हुई है, वोकेशनल एजुकेशन पे बातचीत हुई है, कंटिन्यूइंग मेडिकल एजुकेशन पे बात हुई है और ऑनलाइन लर्निंग इन हायर एजुकेशन और एग्रीकल्चर एजुकेशन पे भी स्पेसिफिकली बात हुई है कि किस तरह से राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति इन मुद्दों पे अपना पक्ष रखता है और किस तरह के दिशा निर्देश हमारे लिए जारी करता है। नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी के चैप्टर नंबर 24 में खास तौर से ऑनलाइन डिजिटल एजुकेशन की बात की गई है। तो बातें तो ऑनलाइन डिजिटल एजुकेशन की है, लेकिन वह दरअसल देखें तो डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन की बातचीत हो रही है। तो डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन की मुख्तलिफ शक्लें हैं जो आज हम बातचीत करेंगे। और एक जो तरक्की याफ्ता शक्ल है, एक जो टेक्नोलॉजी इन्हांस्ड काइंड ऑफ टीचिंग लर्निंग प्रोसेस है, जिसमें हम ई-लर्निंग, एम-लर्निंग, ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग, ऑनलाइन लर्निंग, डिजिटल लर्निंग और इन सारी चीज़ों को शामिल करते हैं। तो इन सभी पे विस्तृत साथ चर्चा होगी। और इस चर्चा में आज हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं देश के जाने माने एक्सपर्ट, खासतौर से ओपन एंड डिस्टेंस लर्निंग सिस्टम में प्रोफेसर CR मूर्ति। उनका हम आपकी तरफ से और अपनी तरफ से स्वागत करते हैं। और संक्षिप्त परिचय प्रस्तुत करते हुए मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा, प्रोफेसर CR मूर्ति ने मास्टर्स और PhD आंध्रा यूनिवर्सिटी से की है और PhD में जो इनका विषय था एजुकेशन डिसिप्लिन में इन्होंने PhD की है आंध्रा यूनिवर्सिटी से। और जहाँ तक वर्क एक्सपीरियंस का ताल्लुक है, he has about 38 years of experience in teaching and learning and different capacities as a researcher, as a trainer and as an ODL expert. Professor Murthy has been visiting various countries as a trainer, as an ODL expert, to share his knowledge and experiences with the people who are working in the open and distance learning system. And he has been frequent visitor of countries like Addis Ababa, Nigeria, Kenya, Liberia, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, New Zealand, Dubai. And during these visits, he has been conducting capacity building program, training program for the ODL functionaries on the various themes of related to distance education and open education. He has about 5 books to his credit as a publication, and he has written about more than 10 chapters in edited books, research papers, more than 15 policy documents, about 7-8 policy documents he has prepared, and unit, as we know that SLM unit, self-learning material unit, is a very important component of open and distance learning system. So as a teacher, as a ODL practitioner, he has contributed about 10 SLM units. And besides that, he has been a member of various professional bodies. And most importantly, let me also share with you all that he has been a director of Staff Training and Research Institute of Distance Education, ITIGNU, and Research Unit of IGNU. And he has been members of All India Association of Education Technology, Indian Distance Education Association, and he has been part of general body of NIOS since 2019, and he is a court member of West Bengal University of Teachers Training, Education, Planning and Administration, Kolkata, since 2018. So with these words, I welcome Professor CR Murthy, and let me also share with you all that in today's discussion, actually Professor Murthy will be presenting briefly at the beginning and later on we shall be discussing various topics related to open distance education, digital education, what national education policy aspiring to see open distance learning system, how open distance learning relates itself to the new education policy, and what are the regulatory frameworks available to regulate and monitor the open and distance learning system. And at the end of the presentation, we shall be discussing about the equivalence related issues which open distance learning system faces. So with these words, I welcome Professor Murthy again, and will request to please start presentation, then we shall.
Thank you, Dr. Ali Saab. Thank you very much, and nice introduction. Yeah, I think it is a long journey as a trainer, as a ODL student of ODL, and then of course a bit of expertise over a period of time. I think the opportunities given by the University, Indira Gandhi National Open University, and at Stride as a trainer, interacted with the many colleagues. I think we have seen the many phases of distance education system. Of course, theoretically it is there, which we will touch upon a brief, but I think we as a colleagues, 85, 86 onwards, how the IGNO evolved and distance education system evolved in the country, and we are also grown along with that. I think that's where our strength lies, and our weaknesses also lies in that. When the system expanded, naturally you as an expert will ponder over the still on the quite a few issues. That's where we are stuck up. So naturally when you stuck, I think that when you don't get a solution, that's your weakness. Yes. Once you search for a solution, that becomes a strength. I think that's how the system got. As Dr. Ali briefly said about how we go about in this particular session, we have titled this as a NEP 2020 Distance and Online Education. And this is a theme we wanted to discuss. Though in the policy, there is no direct reference to the word distance and open distance learning, ODL, but quite a few principles explained, which we will talk about it. Quite a few concepts explained in the NEP 2020 are closely related to distance and ODL system. I think that's why we thought that the colleagues who are attending this NEP training, STP training, quite a few of them must be knowing it, what is distance education, but not many colleagues are knowing it. Yes. What is distance education, what is online education, what are the futures involved in these two modes of education, and what are the futures highlighted in NEP 2020. That we want to combine these things so that colleagues will get a clarity. I think naturally any colleagues who want to develop a programs in distance or online, follow the principles of NEP 2020. Naturally, once you have a basic understanding, it's easier to follow the principles of NEP 20. I think that is the basic objective of this particular session. We thought that there is no specific theme we were discussing in the department, as a directly distance education is not there. Why to go about the theme like this? But we are convinced that the principles which we are going to talk about highlighted in the NEP 2020 are integral part of distance education, and no expert in the world can say that these are not related. I think at IGNO, at least we at IGNO, we have been following the principles which we will talk about it, highlighted in the document NEP 2020. We have been practicing it and we've been following it at IGNO from 86 onwards. I think that's why we thought that we should share this thing with the colleagues who are attending this particular program. Yeah, let us, I think whether it is distance education, whether it is online education, I think still few more words. I will come back to this slide later. Go to the, distance education, one system, many names or many modes. Colleagues can see that. Correspondence education, yeah, many of you familiar with it. I think distance education, correspondence education, at least in Indian context, as you are aware, it was introduced in the year 1962 at University of Delhi as a school of correspondence institution. I think after that, with the in the evolution of correspondence education, along with the methods and the technology, I think the turning point at the world in the world distance education history is the establishment of UK Open University in the year 1969. I think then onwards, the correspondence words has become a bit not compatible with the methods and technologies followed. That's why the distance educators in the world decided, let us go call it as a distance education. I think, yeah, we are teaching at a distance, so in a distance education. Of course, open education is a philosophy. I think a philosophy of flexibility, philosophy of facilitating the courses, combination, many things which we will talk about it. And then of course proximate education is a word coined by different countries. I think in India we don't use much of this one. The same is a mode of education representing, and computer mediated learning, computer aided learning, these are the terms where the technology is. We will talk about it when we are explaining, we will be explaining the levels of generations of distance education. We will talk. Virtual learning, I think it is a buzzword, latest all over the world. In India also, virtual learning. Of course, you all know that digital university is going to be established in India soon at the central level as a national digital university. I think anytime you can hear sooner about the establishment, digital online learning. So that's what the word Dr. Ali said that quite a few terms, even the chapter 24, the title itself is digital online learning. So through digitally online learning at a distance again, it is again it. And the e-learning is also e-content based learning, e-learning. At the blended learning, mixing of the quite a few modes what we discussed in this slide. So this is what I thought, many modes, and then the crux is that teaching at a distance. Go back to the previous slide.
साथियों ये कह सकते हैं कि एक सिस्टम है जिसके विभिन्न नाम हैं. आप उसको डिजिटल एजुकेशन कह लीजिए, ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन कह लीजिए, ई लर्निंग कह लीजिए, प्रॉक्सिमेट एजुकेशन, ओपन एजुकेशन. कोर फिलॉसफी, प्रिंसिपल्स, फ्यूचर्स एजुकेशन का ही है. तो दूर शिक्षा ही उसकी जो है फिलॉसफी है, उसके नाम जो है अलग अलग हो सकते हैं. और सर ने एक और बात आपके साथ शेयर की कि ओपन, अगर हम बात करते हैं ओपन एंड डिस्टेंस की, डिस्टेंस इज अ मोड एंड ओपन इज अ फिलॉसफी. ओपननेस इज अ फिलॉसफी. इसमें हम जो जितनी लचक जो हम छात्रों को प्रदान करते हैं, या हमारे पढ़ने के तरीके में जो हम जिस लचक का मुजाहरा करते हैं, वो चीजें तमाम चीजें ओपननेस में आ जाती है. ओपन और डिस्टेंस जो है, दूर दूरस्थ जो है, एक तरह से एक मेथड है या मोड है, और ओपन एक फिलॉसफी. So we are clubbing that as Dr. Ali elaborated what I have started. Mode of education and the philosophy. Openness is a philosophy. How you combine these two to deliver it effectively to the learner. I think that's what is the crux. So you see this slide. I think it talks about the 3 A's. What is it? Through all these modes, what we just discussed in the previous slide, you can reach anyone, anywhere, and anytime. I think that's the one. Whether you use these 3, anyone, anywhere, anytime, in distance, in online, blended, and so philosophy remains the same. I think that's where. I think when you are talking about any time, you see the conventional universities, it cannot be any time. It is a fixed time. Yeah. एक टाइम पे छात्र को जाकर के क्लास अटेंड करना है, उसके बाद उसको कोई टाइम नहीं मिलेगा. We cannot say that this philosophy of any time, anywhere cannot be used by the conventional universities to such an extent what we are using in the distance and online mode. That is what I want to make a distance now. Let us see the other figure in the slide. What is that? Access. Yeah. Conventional universities have a limitation to reaching the unreached, or whatever you call it. Okay, maybe it is the university located in that particular city or surrounding places. It cannot be beyond. So naturally, that's what in the university acts, whether it is enacted by the state legislature or enacted by the parliament, jurisdiction will be laid down for them. और सर जुरिस्डिक्शन की बात होती है, और सीट्स जो है
लिमिटेड सीट्स.
मोड ऑफ एजुकेशन में आप प्रोफेशनल प्रोग्राम्स में जाइए खास तौर से, तो कुछ ही सीट्स होती हैं जो छात्रों को उपलब्ध कराई जाती है. इससे ज्यादा हम एडमिशन नहीं ले सकते. बिल्कुल. तो जब ये लिमिटेशन कहीं आप डाल देते हैं तो एक्सेसिबिलिटी एक तरह से वहां ब्लॉक हो जाती है. लेकिन ओपन डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन सिस्टम में जो हम फलसफा फॉलो करते हैं,
Yeah.
उसमें हम कोशिश करते हैं कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा छात्र,
So that's where the access to many people,
जी.
access to many regions,
जी.
access to the unreachable places, that's what we talk. Equity. I think you are giving an opportunity to all the groups.
all the group.
I think that's where the marginalized groups or the disadvantaged groups, the women, the far-flung areas. So that's why equity, how can we reach through these modes of okay, conventional universities also try, but it has a limitation what you talked about it, and you talk about the equity through achieving through the conventional mode of education. Cost
की
भी,
बात हो जाती है।
yeah, that's where the
इक्विटी की जब हम बात करते हैं तो कम खर्चे में, कम फी में ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों तक जो है हम पहुंचते हैं। एक हमारा एक इक्विटी का जो एसेट है हमारे पास ओपन रिसर्च,
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल,
ये शिक्षा को जन जन तक पहुंचाने का जो है एक हमें मदद करता है।
एंड द थर्ड कंपोनेंट व्हाट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट इज क्वालिटी। तो लोग का एक आइडिया है भाई डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन में क्वालिटी नहीं होता है, तो दिस इज द सेइंग इन 80s and the early 70s also when this correspondence institution started, there is a debate in the country. भाई ये तो डिग्री बांटने के लिए तो आपने किया. This not only to us we got it. When UK Open University was being established at that time in 69, the same dialogue we put Prime Minister of that, at that point of time in the UK was posed with a question. So you want to distribute the degrees. So criticism is not only for us, criticism for any institution of the Open Universities, but I think Open Universities, particularly UK Open University started in 69, IGNO started in 85, and many state Open Universities came with the state, in the respective states, we have around 14, 15 state Open Universities. Now, we maintain that the quality which we give the material, the quality of instruction, the quality of teaching learning process, ultimately the product of quality is nowhere less than any average conventional institution produced. That we have
सर आज आपको तो पता है, आज हमने एक सेगमेंट रेगुलेटरी मैकेनिज्म पे भी रखा है।
we'll talk about
क्वालिटी को इंश्योर करने के लिए ओपन डिस्टेंस लर्निंग में किस तरह की मैकेनिज्म हमारे पास उपलब्ध है, सर इस पे बात करेंगे। सर प्लीज।
These are all important as a colleagues who are involved in conventional education. Tomorrow we are going to that as per the evolution of or growth of distance education, you call it, all over the world, has undergone a significant transformation, or significant changes have taken place in the ladder of evolutionary ladder of distance education in the world. I think as we started explaining the correspondence system, naturally correspondence system or correspondence model of distance education we followed in the 60s and 70s was basically depended on the print material. I think some sort of a print material may not be well designed or developed as such. I think keeping that as a first generation correspondence material or correspondence model as a first generation, Taylor, a very renowned distance educator in the world, in the 2001 he classified this growth of distance education in the world into 5 generations. First generation model is correspondence model, and second generation multimedia model. I think that's where whether it is Indira Gandhi Open University or other open universities in the India or the UK Open Universities and many other universities. In the Sri Lanka we have Open University, Bangladesh we have, Pakistan we have, so many all over the country there are many open universities. Those open universities started following the real distance education as per this evolutionary ladder or the generations categorized by the Taylor. And the second generation used the print as the core material, supplemented by audio programs, supplemented by video programs. You know, IGNO in the 86 it was the designed and developed the programs. When 87 the 2 programs launched, Diploma in Management and Diploma in Distance Education. It is not only the print material, we have best audio programs, video programs. After that, of course, some other universities in the world, open universities, distance education institutions started following computer aided or computer mediated interactive videos. That's how the things second generation signifies along with the print and other technologies. When you come to the third generation, model of distance education is teleconferencing. The technologies have developed by that time a bit more than the what you call audio video programs and interactive videos. Teleconferencing, two-way audio teleconferencing, two-way video conferencing, provided the affordability of the institution. So naturally, video conferencing. So naturally, the students will be assembled at the other learning end, and the EU experts sitting in our studios interacting through audio conferencing, interacting through video conferencing. Of course, at IGNOU also we have a very good studio where the audio conferencing is their audio studio. Video conferencing, it is the one-way video. The expert teaches and the students from the other side, I cannot see as an expert, but they can see the experts who are sitting in the video. That's what we call it the one-way video and two-way audio conferencing. Is the teleconferencing model, tele-learning model is the third generation of tele. Fourth generation has gone ahead. By that time, the technologies have gone ahead where the internet has come into the existence on a very extensive scale, World Wide Web, where the whole world revolves around the World Wide Web, www, and computer media. That's where flexible learning model, interaction through multimedia, interaction through internet, interaction through World Wide Web, and computer mediated. So it is ahead of the third generation according to the Taylor classification. And the final fifth generation is intelligent and flexible learning. Flexible learning model is fourth generation plus intelligence. What is that intelligence? Intelligent model, flexible. Otherwise, the fourth generation, Taylor termed it as a flexible learning, but the fifth generation, he termed it as intelligent flexible learning. What is that? Intelligent flexible learning is nothing but where the automated response systems are built into this model. So, a student is posing a query related to his studies, student posing a query related to his operations. Naturally, this model, the response to that student's query is automatically gone without the intervention of the teacher or the support. I think that's where the fifth gen. These are the broadly five generations. I think large extent distance education institutions all over the country come under these categories.
तो सर अगर इस पे हम एक नजर सरसरी नजर डालें पांचों फ्रॉम स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम फर्स्ट जनरेशन टू फिफ्थ जनरेशन, तो इससे एक ओवरऑल इंप्रेशन ये निकल के आता है कि बेशक वी आर इन द फिफ्थ जनरेशन, बट जो बाकी के जनरेशन है ऐसा नहीं है जो चीजें जो फीचर्स थी फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड फोर्थ जनरेशन में खत्म हो गई, ऐसा नहीं है, वो चीजें भी साथ साथ चल रही है। हुआ ये है कि द एजुकेशन सिस्टम हैज बिकम मोर फ्लेक्सिबल, इंटरैक्टिव एंड एक्सेसिबल by using different kind of emerging media and technologies.
So, as you rightly said, not that other models are ceased to exist. No, it is going parallel. Suppose some less developed countries or less developed institutions where they don't have the technology to such an extent, maybe they are following the second generation. Maybe IGNOU is following between third and fourth generation. So that's how. So as your point is right that I think these are the parallel models are followed or used by different institutions in the country. I think that's how one has to see.
I think so far Sir has presented some sort of background of open access learning system, how it is got evolved, what kind of media technologies have been playing its role in the different generations, and what are the different nomenclatures which are given to distance education system. System is one, but names are many. Now, I would request Sir to please some light on what are the principles, which is, it seems, already inbuilt in the national education policy.
That's correct.
Sir, please highlight on those.
Thank you. Let us see that as we briefly touched upon the distance education or the any mode of learning what we talked, the core philosophies. Now, let us see what are the issues raised in the policy 2020. Spirit of ODL throughout the policy, that's what we have seen it. In the beginning I said that maybe distance education is not mentioned as such, open distance learning is not mentioned, but the spirit is there throughout. I think many experts, we checked with quite a few experts, yes, this is the. So let us see that what are those principles highlighted. Philosophy and tenets of openness, this is what it talks about 2020. What is the philosophy of openness? That's what we just briefly visited. Philosophy of flexibility in terms of age, in terms of duration, in terms of in the classroom, suppose BA first year classroom, you will find all the students around the age of 17 or 18. But here in our BA program, we have 18 years to the 60 years range, maybe at times beyond 60 also. So this is where the one open philosophy, openness of that. Flexibility and freedom of choice, yes, that's what we talked. I think even the NEP 2020, that's what it talks about, freedom of choice. That's what we have been following it at IGNOU.
Yes.
Suppose IGNOU BDP program initial structure was core courses, elective courses, application-oriented course. Under each section, we have a certain number of courses. Students have given a choice to take out the courses out of his choice or her choice and then go for the study. So we have been following in that sense and freedom of choice in selecting the courses. Technology intervention, yeah, that's what we have been talking about it. Yeah, NGP is telling why not to use the technology. I think IGNOU, initially we used what you call the low cost media, you can say, or the low end of technology, audio video program. From there we moved ahead with the audio conferencing is slightly ahead of audio program. Yes. Teleconferencing, video conferencing ahead of that one. So that's how the technology interventions, now we have the, you can go ahead now with the help of internet, with the help of online education. Yes. Of course, IGNOU.
Online interaction, online sessions, online live
yes.
conferencing.
And now this program itself is a virtual, through virtual mode we are offering that. So with using the technology, we have developed a program. So this is the best example for that. What you call the online education, you call it the virtual training, you call it a blended learning. We are having a chat session now. We are having interactive, so live session. So it's a blended, what we referred in the terms. And open learning is a philosophy I have already talked. Basic aim of the whole spirit what NEP 20 is talking, the quality and forward-looking higher education system. I think any higher education system should look for a quality and look for the future in that sense. Yeah. Yeah, and few more principles what it talks about it is, highlights multidisciplinary and holistic education. I think throughout the 2020 policy talks about is single discipline alone will not justify in the coming requirements of the students and the products of the university graduates. Multidisciplinary. What is multidisciplinary? I think it's a few specializations come together, few subjects come together and see that what are the commonalities, can you sit together and develop it? Yesterday we were talking about, for you, let me repeat that, agricultural education when Professor Yadav was talking about it. Yes, agricultural education, he said that it is the sciences uses, agricultural sciences uses many other sciences into that one. Many other sciences use it. Suppose it uses botanist knowledge, it uses zoology, it uses the economy, it uses the other disciplines, veterinary science, even the animal husbandry. The mix of that. That's what he said. Sir, ours is a multidisciplinary this thing. Then he touched upon that. Holistic education has the whether it's a student is not only the theory based. It is a good human being with a skill component where the employment sector is looking for a complete holistic education. I think policy is highlighting that not only at the higher education level, even starting from the school education should be holistic model of that.
So that the person or student is not only the expert in his domain knowledge, but he is also having some sort of related skills and other skills where he or she can contribute in that particular sector in a more meaningful manner or meaningful way.
Yeah, and the point of flexibility we have already talked. We will not touch much time to keeping the time factor. No hard separation between different areas of learning. The multidisciplinary is coming together the few specializations across the disciplines. That's where the no hard separation between different areas of learning is promotion of multilingualism. I think that's another important feature of NEP 2020 is talking about. Can't we use the many languages? India being a country with many languages. I think constitutionally recognized languages are itself are around 18 or 19 languages, and even many dialects are there. There are the few dialects where they don't have the script, but there are the few dialects other than the recognized language with the scripts. So multilingual country, I think, can we promote multilingualism? A student can learn on their own in their own mother tongue. I think not only at the school level, of course school level I learnt from my mother tongue only up to 10th class. After that, of course, when we move to the intermediate, that's a different. But can we use that language even for higher education is the focus of that one.
और सर इसी डायरेक्शन में मेरे ख्याल से काम भी बहुत सारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस ने हायर एजुकेशन शुरू भी कर दिया है कि जो भारत के शेड्यूल लैंग्वेजेस हैं उसमें खास तौर से जो भी हमारे जो प्रोग्राम्स हैं यूजी प्रोग्राम्स और पीजी प्रोग्राम्स अब तो ये भी बात हो रही है कि जो प्रोफेशनल प्रोग्राम्स हैं एमबीबीएस और जैसे इंजीनियरिंग उनकी किताबों का भी अनुवाद किया जाए हिंदी में, उर्दू में, पंजाबी में, उड़िया में, तेलुगु में, तमिल में, बिल्कुल जो शेड्यूल लैंग्वेजेस हैं
देयर एफर्ट्स आर गोइंग ऑन,
यस, उस पर काम चल रहा है। और जहाँ तक ओपन डिस्टेंस लर्निंग की बात है और इग्नू का एक केस अगर सामने रखें तो हमारे कई सारे प्रोग्राम हैं जिसमें कुछ लर्निंग मटेरियल्स का ऑलरेडी अनुवाद जो है
शुरू हो गया है
और कुछ प्रोग्राम्स ऑफर हुए भी थे local languages.
Yeah, certificate program in food and nutrition started in early 90s, which is offered in Gujarati, offered in Telugu, offered in Hindi, English, many languages. So like that, few programs, though actually IGNO's mainly two mediums is largely representing is English medium and through Hindi we are producing. But as you said that, by going for the multilingualism, certain programs or certificate level or diploma we are offering into the other languages. I think latest example our Honorable Vice Chancellor also quoted in the NEP session, the journalism program. Journalism program, I think with the colleagues' initiative, it is translated fully into Tamil. Because he is a master level program of that. So look at that. It's not difficult. Provided you have expertise, but that colleague is a subject expert of journalism, has the language background of Tamil. He said, I can do it. He took the help of Tamil colleagues and he himself is a good language expert. So he has translated MA program. So now that MA program will be being offered or already started, Tamil MA journalism program in that. So that's where I think the policy is looking for such type of things. I think IGNO, we started it. I think many more will be in the pipeline to offer that.
और ये मेरे ख्याल से हमारे शिक्षक बंधु अगर प्रयास करें इंस्टीट्यूशन लेवल पे या इंडिविजुअल लेवल पे कि जो एग्जिस्टिंग अंग्रेजी की जो किताबें हैं और तो डिमांड के अनुसार अगर उसका हम अनुवाद दूसरी भाषाओं में करें तो प्रयास करने में कुछ जाता नहीं है, उस मेरे ख्याल से सफल होगा क्योंकि मार्केट में अभी जो है लोकल लैंग्वेजेस में जो किताबें हैं उसकी कमी है और उस डिमांड को हम लोग पूरा कर सकते हैं। और दूसरी बात कि आज का जो माहौल बन रहा है पूरे दुनिया में और देश के अंदर एक से ज्यादा लैंग्वेज जानने वालों की बहुत कमी है। बहुत सारी कंपनियां ऐसी हैं, बहुत सारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऐसे हैं जो ऐसे लोगों को जॉब में प्रेफरेंस देते हैं या उनको प्रेफर करते हैं जिनको एक से अधिक भाषाएं आती हैं। तो भारत एक हमारा देश जो है भाषाओं का देश है। यहाँ जितनी भाषाएं बोली जाती हैं दुनिया के किसी क्षेत्र में
इट इज अ स्ट्रेंथ
और ये हमारी एक स्ट्रेंथ है। तो इस स्ट्रेंथ को हमें बरकरार भी रखना है और इसका हमें इस सिचुएशन को हमें एक्सप्लॉइट भी करना है, बढ़ावा भी देना है ताकि हमारे बच्चे देखिए हमारे यहाँ मदर लैंग्वेज तो सभी
अलग अलग है। My mother tongue is Telugu, your mother tongue is Urdu,
किसी का
हिंदी,
किसी का हिंदी होगा, किसी का छौड़ होगा। तो कहने का मतलब एक भाषा तो हम बाय बर्थ समझे एक तरह से हम लोग बचपन सीख जाते हैं, अंग्रेजी सीखते हैं, दो भाषा तो हमारे ऐसे ही हो जाती है। तीसरी भाषा भी हमें सीखने में कोई एतराज नहीं, कोई हर्ज नहीं। और एक तरह से हमें ये हमारी एक स्ट्रेंथ है ताकि जो मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज है, बड़ी बड़ी कंपनियां हैं, वो ऐसे लोगों को खोजती हैं जिनको एक से अधिक भाषाएं आती हैं।
When you talked about the lingualism and then many bhashas, you take the best example of the IAS. IAS people who have been selected, recruited, training, and then postings. Their postings will be not only their home state. They have to opt depending on the availability. Suppose a North Indian from Bihar or Uttar Pradesh opting Tamil Nadu and Andhra. He doesn't know the language, but based on his option, he is given a language course.
Yes.
And I realized when I started interacting with people who are speaking in Telugu in a broken but communicating. So this is where, that's the best example. He has learned it because it's a professional requirement and a demand. If a colleague is placed in opted with IAS cadre colleagues opted for Andhra, Tamil Nadu or Gujarat anyway, they have to learn the local language.
To introduce that cadre.
To interact with the people. This is what it. I think when that is possible, I think it can be possible in education sector. Yeah, and then of course the last principle is regular formative assessment of learning. Yeah, I think that's where we highlight in the distance system. Assessment should be in the formal stages, in the beginning stages. It's not only the one-time assessment at the end of it. That's where, of course, I talked about the use of technology, extensive need, respect for diversity and law. That's what we highlighted. Because the students of IGNOU are coming from different parts of the country and even at times outside the country as well. So it is a diverse groups. Naturally, to cater to the diverse group, you have to explain the diversity, and at the same time, local context also you have to fix it. When you are teaching a sociology, when you are teaching a political philosophy, political systems, that's where the diversity, the global context and the local context have to be both explained. That's what we follow, and that's what the NEP 2020 is focusing on that. Of course, research is given a very significant role, and regular review. I think you have to follow the practices, review करके उसमें कुछ changes लाना है, and then of course inclusion of all the cadres in the implementation of NEP 2020 is the highlighted. Yeah.
अच्छा सर, मैं एक चीज मैं जानना चाह रहा था, ये स्लाइड पे आ गया और हमने पहले भी बात की कि NEP का जो चैप्टर 24 है.
Yeah, this is exactly. Yeah.
That exclusively talks about the online and
digital
education. Yeah. हमने ये भी बात किया कि डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन की ऐसा सीधे बात नहीं है, लेकिन ये ऑनलाइन डिजिटल एजुकेशन की बात है, ये तो वही है. Only
distance education institutions are following all the principles since long time back. That's why we say with a confidence of practicing those principles. Yeah.
और मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंटली हमने जितने भी ओपन डिस्टेंस लर्निंग इंस्टीट्यूशंस थे, खासतौर से इग्नू में भी हमने देखा कि कोरोना के टाइम में, कोविड के टाइम में हमने किस तरह से टेक्नोलॉजी का प्रयोग करके,
not only IGNOU, all over the world, starting from the schools to the higher secondary schools to college and universities, switched over to the online learning.
Even conventional mode of education.
Yeah.
जो कहते थे कि डिस्टेंस मोड इज some sort of inferior, उसमें हम कैसे जाके
नहीं, उसको दूर रहो,
तो उनको भी आना पड़ा और डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन का सहारा लेना,
टेक्नोलॉजी का सहारा
लेकर के लर्नर्स को जो है फायदा पहुंचाने, उनको मदद.
But IGNOU, with its own already following the principles of open learning and the technology-based learning, did not find much difficulty where the other institutions found a difficulty in switching over to the online teaching learning.
तो सर मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि जो चैप्टर 24 में जो खास
main points. Yeah, I think you can see the slides, colleagues. What are the chapter 24 of the NEP 2020 titled as a online and digital education? What it talks about? It talks about robust digital infrastructure to be created. I think without infrastructure you cannot impart digital education. Best example at IGNOU, हमने जब शुरुआत किया था 1987 में, वो ज़्यादा टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं थी. ऑडियो प्रोग्राम्स, वीडियो प्रोग्राम्स के छोटा सा स्टूडियो था उस टाइम में, तुगलकाबाद में रहता था. वो स्टूडियो में हम वहाँ जाके ऑडियो प्रोग्राम्स, वीडियो प्रोग्राम्स डेवलप करते थे. उसके बाद इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर we got it from the Overseas Development Administration body of UK. Some equipment has come, but basically from the Japan, under the Japan International Collaboration Agency JICA, we have a good studios now. What we are talking about, the teleconferencing, two-way video and one two-way audio program is the studio which was financed. So this is how, because of that infrastructure, we entered into the interaction with the students through Gyanvani, Gyandarshan, one-way video, two-way audio, all those things. That's where the first point, the infrastructure has to be created if you want to go for online education or digital education. And the pilot studies, yes, before you opt for online education, as you said that pandemic का दौरान पे जो किया, they don't know, school teachers, what is online learning. वो कैसा पढ़ाते हैं, बच्चे सुन रहे कि नहीं सुन रहे उनको पता नहीं. So that they were given a brief training, but naturally pilot studies or pilot projects of that kind is needed. Suppose in IGNOU case, from the day one, we also got the training from the other institutions. ODA, UK Open University से experts आते थे, we learned from them how they fall. Of course, we have modulated, we have modified, we have adapted. So this is where that. And then of course we have quite a few projects like Swayam, I think where we are using extensively Government of India's Swayam platform, Diksha e-learning platforms. Those are to be enhanced, they have to be expanded to meet the requirements. Creation of engaging e-content, yes, that's why I did that. Games and simulations which are coming up, I think yes, that has to be extensively used. Actually, as a teacher, I should know first how the games can be integrated with my course content, how the simulations can be integrated. All those things have to be done. Proper online assessment mechanisms, yes. IGNOU has been following the assessment mechanisms शुरू से formative assessment का मतलब है वो जो क्लासरूम में टीचर इंटरेक्ट करता है स्टूडेंट से, दैट्स सम सॉर्ट ऑफ असेसमेंट। एक सवाल पूछता है टीचर, जवाब आता है तो बच्चों को असेस करता है वो सीख रहे कि नहीं सीख रहे। So this is where the assessment mechanisms, I think we have to use the technological tools to go for assessment mechanism. Setting up of more and more virtual labs. अगर साइंस बेस्ड प्रोग्राम्स है, प्रैक्टिकल प्रोग्राम्स है, यू हैव टू गो फॉर द वर्चुअल लैब्स, क्योंकि फिजिकल लैब्स कैन नॉट बी टेकन एवरीवेयर। तो एंड देन क्रिएशन ऑफ ए नेशनल एजुकेशन टेक्नोलॉजी forum. This is a forum which is created recently, established by the Government of India, where this focus will be online digital education, and they will facilitate the institutions who want to switch over, who want to expand it, and then adequate technology infrastructure to be created, also that we have already touched upon. Training and development for teachers for using technology for online or distance learning, anything. I think this is a core point, because there will be a resistance to any innovation. For me, online digital education, जब distance education शुरू किया, that was a big innovation. It is a tool for bringing a social change in the world. It is kind as a distance educator, it is a tool. वो जब tool को तुम use करोगे, online को तुम use करोगे, teacher say, I don't know online. How can I do that? अगर अभी पूरा हिंदुस्तान के कॉलेजेस है, 40,000 कॉलेजेस, 1,000 प्लस यूनिवर्सिटीज को तुम लागू करोगे, they will show the resistance, but the resistance have to overcome by giving a proper and adequate training and a timely training. वो important है. So that's where I think you know that you are from a
उससे संबंधित मैं एक प्रश्न आपसे पूछना चाह रहा था कि ट्रेनिंग एंड डेवलपमेंट ऑफ टीचर्स टू बिल्ड देयर कैपेसिटी, इस पर बातचीत की है, नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी ने भी
वेरी एक्सटेंसिवली।
हाँ, ये बात अलग है कि कुछ बहुत सारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं या जितने टीचर्स भी एक रिलेक्टेंसी होती है कि हम ऑनलाइन
टेक्नोलॉजी में यूज नहीं कर पाता
हूँ, कैसे करूँगा, ये सारी चीजें हैं। और हमें भी लगता है कि वाकई प्रोफेशनल डेवलपमेंट ऑफ टीचर्स, हाउ इट द टेक्नोलॉजी एंड
इवन अदर मोड्स ऑफ
हाँ, तो एक इम्पोर्टेंट है, सिर्फ ऑनलाइन का एजुकेशन का नहीं, डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन की बात की। जब डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन की शुरुआत हुई तो उस टाइम पे भी यही लगता था कि सेल्फ लर्निंग मटेरियल जो है, डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन का अपना एक अलग डिजाइन है, उसका एक अपना एक मेथोडोलॉजी है, वो कैसे हो पाएगा। जो ज्यादातर टीचर्स थे सब कन्वेंशनल बोर्ड के थे, टेक्स्ट मटेरियल्स लिखते थे, टेक्स्ट बुक्स लिखते थे, तो उनको सेल्फ लर्निंग लिखना।
लेट मी पुट इट इन इग्नो कंटेस्ट में, हमने इग्नो में कैसा उसको ट्रेनिंग को, आई थिंक द फाउंडर वाइस चांसलर एंड द यूके को कंपेयर करोगे, यूके ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी को, यूके ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी 69, दे थॉट दैट हम टीचर्स कन्वेंशनल, उनका भी कन्वेंशनल सिस्टम से टीचर्स आए ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी में, दे सेड दैट उनको क्या ट्रेनिंग देके, दे आर ऑलरेडी एक्सपर्ट्स, दे सेड लेट देम लर्न ऑन द जॉब, ट्रायल एंड एरर। तो वो डिस्टेंस मेथड में प्रोग्राम शुरू करेगा, ट्रायल, बट इग्नो स्टडीड दैट मॉडल एंड दे सेड नो, वी विल नॉट गो फॉर द ट्रायल एंड एरर मेथड, we will train the teachers who are entering into IGNOU. उस टाइम में डिविजन ऑफ डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन शुरू हो गया था IGNOU में। I think now after that 1993 it is renamed as a STRIDE, staff training, where you and me are a faculty now.
STRIDE की सर आपने बात की, तो एक प्रश्न यहाँ पे ये भी उठता है कि जब ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन, डिजिटल एजुकेशन और ओडियल एज अ होल में स्टाफ डेवलपमेंट की बात जब करते हैं, तो इन दिस कॉन्टेक्स्ट वेयर डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन इज exclusively NEP exclusively talking about training and development of teachers. STRIDE, Staff Training and Research Institute का क्या रोल हो सकता है to develop teachers?
That I think it's a very important point. आपने ट्रेनिंग को हाईलाइट भी किया है, you wanted to discuss that. Maybe time is a factor. We'll briefly touch upon, as I said, that distance education के our own colleagues coming from different disciplines, from different conventional institutions को day one से Before they start designing the programs in respective discipline, they are trained, exposed to the distance education methodologies. Briefly, भाई ये डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन है, ये इसमें प्रोग्राम ऐसा डिज़ाइन किया जाता है, इसको प्रिंट मटेरियल ऐसा बनाना है, प्रिंट के साथ टेक्नोलॉजी ऐसा जोड़ना है. दिस इज अ ट्रेनिंग विच हेल्प टू प्रोड्यूसिंग द गुड प्रोग्राम्स. अभी जो इग्नो का नेम है, इज द स्ट्रेंथ इज द प्रिंट मटेरियल, ऑडियो वीडियो प्रोग्राम्स, क्योंकि वो suppose economics professor who have come from a different university is not expert of distance education, but the providing that brief training initially helped. In the same way, suppose these principles of openness and all this NEP 2020 highlighting, अगर उसको हम सच में लागू करना है एक्सटेंसिवली ऑल ओवर द कंट्री, देयर इज नो अल्टरनेटिव, उसको ट्रेनिंग की जरूरी है. ट्रेनिंग कौन देगा? इतना बड़ा देश में 40,000 कॉलेजेस एंड 1,000 यूनिवर्सिटीज एंड 15 लाख टीचर्स. वो 15 लाख टीचर्स का ही एग्जाम्पल ले लीजिए आप. ये 15 लाख का टीचर्स का NEP 2020 के ऊपर एक्सपोज कर दे. दैट व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इट. ये प्रोजेक्ट है, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एजुकेशन हैज, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया हैज विजुअलाइज दैट बाय NEP के 2020 के ऊपर टीचर्स को अवगाहना कैसा मिलेगा, वो ट्रेनिंग कौन देगा? तो क्लासरूम में बुला के ट्रेनिंग दे दो, वर्चुअल ट्रेनिंग में. आई थिंक इग्नो गॉट दैट अपॉर्चुनिटी थ्रू मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एजुकेशन, एंड ऑफ कोर्स एज अ ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूट इग्नो हैज आस्क्ड द स्ट्राइड to visualize this. That's how we have visualized it. Training. This is the 9th batch which we are doing it, and there will be few more batches.
And most importantly, sir, staff training and Institute of Education STRIDE now has got the recognition of UGC.
That's correct. Yeah. That's correct. Earlier, of course, we followed all the UGC principles in offering the training for the academic staff colleges. We are doing it, but naturally, बाहर का टीचर जब आते थे इग्नो वाला तो वी नो प्रॉब्लम, वी आर आवर ओन ट्रेनिंग, वी आर गिविंग इट एंड इट इज इक्वेटेड व्हेन यू आर प्रमोशन एंड अदर दिस थिंग्स. जो बाहर का टीचर्स को सर ये UGC की मान्यता मिली, बट ऑफ कोर्स वी हैव बीन इन टच विद UGC. दे गेव ए इक्वलेंस. सपोज PG डिप्लोमा इन डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन प्रोग्राम इज इक्वलेंट टू 2 refresher programs. It is long back. A PG diploma in higher education of the School of Education program got the long back through UGC equivalent to 2 refresher. This is how the manyata to thi. Lekin on all the programs across, you rightly said, now STRIDE has recently, we are happy to inform, got the UGC HRDC equivalence recognition. So STRIDE is equivalent to any HRDC center of the UGC, which are all over the country in various universities. हमें ये मान्यता मिली है. So naturally, I think with this help, even to give the training for the technology use, online design, blended learning program design, I think we should go, and colleagues should know that. Tomorrow if the institution want to know, भाई हम ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग प्रोग्राम में, ऑनलाइन प्रोग्राम में कहाँ से ट्रेनिंग ले सकते हैं, आई थिंक इग्नो दे कैन लुक फॉरवर्ड फॉर द इग्नो. यस,
मैं सर से आगे जानना चाहूँगा कि नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी और ODL, एक तो हमने समझ लिया कि किस तरह से ODL में ऑलरेडी बहुत सारी चीज़ें इनबिल्ट हैं जिसकी बात नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी करता है. तो अब आती है कि इम्प्लीमेंटेशन थ्रू ODL, जो कुछ बातें नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में खास तौर से की गई हैं, उसको ODL में कैसे हमें इम्प्लीमेंट करना है, उस पर सर थोड़ी रोशनी डालिए.
Okay, I think we have already touched here and there, but maybe to put the issues in a perspective, जो principles NEP 20 highlighted, multiple entry, multiple exit, modularity, उसके लिए मैं एक एग्जांपल देना चाहता हूँ इग्नो से ही. सपोज our 2 programs which we launched in 1987, Diploma in Management, Diploma in Distance Education. These are 2 diplomas. Let us take the example of Diploma in Management. Diploma in Management launched by the School of Management Studies of IGNO. जो डिप्लोमा 1 साल का डिप्लोमा बच्चे करेंगे और एग्जिट हो जाएंगे, दे आर फ्री टू एग्जिट. वो उसको डिप्लोमा इन मैनेजमेंट कह के वो सर्टिफिकेट लेके चले जा सकता था. बट अदर स्टूडेंट्स हु वांट टू कंटिन्यू डिप्लोमा इन मैनेजमेंट के बाद एडवांस डिप्लोमा करना शुरू करते थे. जो लोग चाहते तो छोड़ के चले गए. एंड द ADA एडवांस डिप्लोमा के बाद पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट डिप्लोमा होता था. ऐसा दो स्टूडेंट्स हु हैव कंप्लीटेड ऑल द डिप्लोमास विल बी अवॉर्डेड ए मास्टर ऑफ बिजनेस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन MBA डिग्री. जो बच्चे चले गए एंड आफ्टर 2 years दे वांट टू कम बैक एंड री एंट्री लेके, So डिप्लोमा से फिर एडवांस डिप्लोमा में एंट्री कर सकते. So this is where what we call the मल्टीपल एंट्री मल्टीपल एग्जिट और मॉड्यूलरिटी का जो स्ट्रक्चर है इग्नो से उसी टाइम से हमने फॉलो किया था. That and even the example, another example is diploma in distance education, where Stride offers that as a part of the diploma in distance education शुरुआत है. उसके बाद PG diploma किया, उसके बाद हमें MA in distance education किया है. Those students who have completed DDE, they can exit, and then those students who have done PGDDE, the modified program of DDE, वो लोग छोड़ के चले जा सकते थे. बट आफ्टर ए ईयर और टू दे वांट टू कम बैक एंड टू द MA डिग्री इन डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन, वो सेकंड ईयर में एंट्री ले सकते थे. दिस इज व्हाट वी कॉल द मॉड्यूलरिटी और मल्टीपल एंट्री और मल्टीपल एग्जिट का जो स्कोप है. आई थिंक वी हैव एक्सपेरिमेंटेड नॉट ओनली इन दिस 2 प्रोग्राम्स, और कुछ और भी प्रोग्राम्स है इग्नो का, ये मल्टीपल एंट्री मल्टीपल एग्जिट.
सर ने बहुत अच्छा उदाहरण दिया है MA डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन का, कि अगर आपने पहला साल फर्स्ट ईयर आपने कंप्लीट किया है तो यू कैन एग्जिट विथ हैविंग PG डिप्लोमा इन डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन. और अगर आपने 2 साल कंप्लीट कर लिए
यू गेट द मोस्ट.
या कोई ऐसा भी छात्र है जो पहले से उसने PGDD किया हुआ है, तो if he or she wants to join the second year,
what you call the lateral entry,
they can come and join.
These are the practices where the IGNO has been practicing it. Maybe I think IGNO have to modify a bit to suit the latest philosophy which is highlighted in NEP 20. That modifications or alterations can be done at any point of time when you are designing the new program and you are revising the existing programs. We can do that. I think that's the basic example of that. And then of course multiple entry, multiple exit, use of technology, you already multiple language you discussed at length. Skill development is another important thing. Skill is the component. I think IGNO में जो BA प्रोग्राम को इनिशियल BA अंडरग्रेजुएट प्रोग्राम के मैंने एग्जांपल दिया, एप्लीकेशन ओरिएंटेड कोर्स व्हिच आर कंपलसरी फॉर द फाइनल ईयर BA स्टूडेंट्स. एप्लीकेशन ओरिएंटेड, इवन व्हाट इज एप्लीकेशन ओरिएंटेड? स्क्रिप्ट राइटिंग इन हिंदी फॉर द हिंदी फीचर TV के लिए, ऑडियो रेडियो के लिए, दैट्स एप्लीकेशन ओरिएंटेड. बिकॉज आई एम नॉट ए प्रोफेशनल स्क्रिप्ट राइटर, लेकिन वो सर्टिफिकेट प्रोग्राम वो एप्लीकेशन ओरिएंटेड लेते हैं, तो स्क्रिप्ट राइटिंग ऐसा बहुत सारा एप्लीकेशन ओरिएंटेड कोर्स डेवलप किया गया. सो दैट्स वेयर द स्किल डेवलपमेंट इज पॉसिबल. ओनली थिंग्स यू हैव टू विजुअलाइज इट. Not only in that, now the emphasis in the new education policy is what extent you have to incorporate the skill. And I think the world, the employer is looking for pure theory is not acceptable to us. Your graduate may be expert. I think कभी-कभी लोग कहते हैं हमारा technical education is so strong. Our IITians are ruling the world with various capacities. But लेकिन average graduate of engineering देखो, he has a good theory. But can you open your car and do a small repair? This is the gap.
सर एक प्रश्न आ रहा है कि मल्टीडिसिप्लिनरी एजुकेशन की आपने बात की, तो in ODL context, how we can go about it through ODL while offering the?
Yeah, I think we have a school of interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary studies, and even the undergraduate program is the best example of multidisciplinary program. We have the n number of courses contributed by various disciplines to that one. So now by following the NEP principle, जब स्टूडेंट ने तो हिस्ट्री लिया, मैंने हिस्ट्री के साथ साथ फिजिक्स ले सकते हैं कि नहीं ले सकते? That is what it is talking about. हिस्ट्री के साथ कंप्यूटर साइंस ले सकते हैं कि नहीं ले सकते? हिस्ट्री के साथ मैथ अभी तो नहीं है, एग्जिस्टिंग में हिस्ट्री वाला मैथ्स को नहीं ले सकते, लेकिन नाउ दैट इज फोकस इज इट इज द बोनस इज ऑन द स्टूडेंट. इफ स्टूडेंट इज इंटरेस्टेड, आई कैन डू हिस्ट्री अलॉन्ग विद द कंप्यूटर साइंस एंड द मैथमेटिक्स, व्हाई नॉट?
इसका मतलब सर मैं जो इम्प्रेशन इससे ले रहा हूँ कि आप डिफरेंट सब्जेक्ट्स रख सकते हैं, बट if a student want to pursue honors degree in a particular area, in that situation, what is going to be distribution of credit?
I think that of course now the 4 years undergraduate program which is visualized in the policy, UGC has come out with a clear guidelines. I think it is in the public domain now. University of Delhi has already introduced the undergraduate program. उसमें ये सारा चीज लाए, including that what is the skill based courses, what is the component, various components, very clearly highlighted that. I think that way you have to think it over. Otherwise, student को कौन सा discipline चाहिए, कौन सा, suppose even take existing disciplines itself, management science. Management science में there are many disciplines incorporated. Statistics होता है. Statistics there in every discipline. By research methodology, take any subject. Statistics, is it not multidisciplinary? Econometrics. What is econometrics? Is a mix of both economics and the statistical models incorporated. So this is how the one has to see.
Sir, what I am taking impression, okay, national education policy talks about if an engineering student wants to learn music,
Yeah.
we should not stop
Yeah.
him or her.
Yeah.
तो मुझे लगता है कि वहाँ पे आपका जो कोर कॉम्पिटेंस है टेक्नोलॉजी वो तो आपका रहेगा. मेजर क्रेडिट विल बी रिलेटेड टू योर सब्जेक्ट एरिया, योर डोमेन ऑफ नॉलेज जो आप पढ़ रहे हैं, मेजर सब्जेक्ट आपका है. उसके अलावा जो ऑप्शनल इलेक्टिव,
I think now the
आप रख सकते हैं.
credit framework which has come again.
जी.
I think that's what yesterday we were discussing in the department, the principal, and that is where undergraduate student who have earned courses from different institutions. This is what your answer to your question. Suppose मैं इग्नो से 60 क्रेडिट कोर्सेज किया है ऑफ माय इंटरेस्ट एंड चॉइस, एंड बाकी जो 40 क्रेडिट है मैंने दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी से कुछ किया, जेएनयू से कुछ किया है, और विश्व भारती यूनिवर्सिटी से कुछ किया. Now I say that's what NGP is visualizing. तो स्टूडेंट हैज डन फ्रॉम मेनी इंस्टीट्यूशन. एकेडमिक बैंक ऑफ क्रेडिट तो यही तो बोलता है, भाई तुमने 60 क्रेडिट इग्नो से किया, तुम्हारा अकाउंट में डाल दो. तो 20 क्रेडिट आपने डीयू से किया, डाल दो. Now it is 100 credits. Now we are eligible for a graduation degree. Who will award the degree? That's what you are asking me. Now, as per the policy, the philosophy of the guidelines which is released, that's what I have not gone through the details. They say that the students who have had the maximum credits, say 50 above credits from which institution, that institution has to award the degree. I think that's how the thing. तो उसमें ये नहीं है तो मैं मेरे इंस्टीट्यूशन से तुमने 50 किया है, बाकी दूसरे का तो मैं नहीं दूंगा. नो, यू हैव टू फॉलो द guidelines prescribed by the University Grants Commission, very clear-cut guidelines which are coming out, not only on this issue, on various issues highlighted in the NGP 2020. Few guidelines are yet to come, but the guidelines have to be studied by each institution, and they have to accept it. I don't think you cannot say that I will not accept it. वो नहीं हो सकता.
हमारे पास समय बहुत कम है.
कुछ क्वेश्चंस
और कुछ क्वेश्चन जो है जो आए हैं वो हम शामिल करते हैं. हम लोग तो रेगुलेटरी मैकेनिज्म है
नहीं जा पाए, but maybe we will spend a few minutes on the regulatory mechanism.
तो सर
जो डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन का रेगुलेटरी मैकेनिज्म कौन है आप लोग पूछ सकते हैं. आई थिंक बिकॉज टाइम की वजह से हमने डिटेल वे में नहीं जा पाएंगे, बट मेजर फीचर्स द डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन में व्हेन इग्नो एक्ट वाज पास्ड बाय द पार्लियामेंट इन द ईयर 1985. तो वो जो उसमें 2 मैंडेट्स दिया इग्नो को, एज ए यूनिवर्सिटी यू डिजाइन एंड डेवलप प्रोग्राम्स एंड ऑफर, दैट्स एनी मैंडेट लाइक एनी यूनिवर्सिटीज मैंडेट. वो जो सेकंड मैंडेट था इग्नो को दिया गया, इट हैज टू नर्चर द डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन, प्रमोट द डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन एंड डेवलप द डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन अक्रॉस द कंट्री. दिस इज ए व्हाट यू कॉल ए रेगुलेटरी रोल कहो या एपेक्स रोल कहो या नेशनल रोल कहो, कुछ भी कहो, दिस इज गिवन. It is unusual. It is unusual or a unique model, not only in India, even in the world, we can say at that point of time. Nowhere a university is performing a role of a university and the regulatory role कहीं नहीं था. तो इग्नो को यही डायलेमा में था उस टाइम में. एज ए यूनिवर्सिटी वी स्टार्टेड प्रोग्राम्स इन 87, जनवरी से 87 में लॉन्च किए थे. लेकिन ये रोल कैसा करना है, we don't have experience of that kind. So that negotiations with the Ministry of Education then and the University Grants Commission and other regulatory bodies, so they coined Distance Education Council. That's what is under section 1670 of the IGNO Act. So Distance Education Council created at IGNO under the IGNO Act, chaired by the Vice Chancellor of IGNO as the chair of the council, is responsible for mandating the carrying out the role, second role given to the IGNO. जो 91 से फिर हमने ये रोल फॉलो करना, डेवलप्ड गाइडलाइंस लाइक रेगुलेटर एंड देन काफ़ी डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशन को बढ़ावा दिया, गाइडेंस दिया, आई थिंक ओपन यूनिवर्सिटीज को एस्टैब्लिश किया विद द गाइडेंस ऑफ इग्नो। तो वो रोल है 91 से हमने ऑलमोस्ट 2012 तक हमने परफॉर्म कर रहे थे।
2012 में मेरे ख्याल से डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन ब्यूरो,
वो एक्चुअली उसमें देयर इज अ डिबेट व्हाई इग्नो शुड परफॉर्म दिस रोल एज इग्नो एज ए प्लेयर होगी इट कैन एज ए, वो जो कहावत होते थे हम जब भी जाते थे वेरियस इंस्टीट्यूशन, मोती आप तो प्लेयर है, आप हाउ कैन यू बी एम्पायर आल्सो, a player cannot do so that to communicating the criticism, but taking all these into consideration, ये जो रोल डेको परफॉर्म कर रहा था इग्नो में, that is given to यूनिवर्सिटी ग्रांट्स कमीशन डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन ब्यूरो को दिया गया। तो नाउ डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन ब्यूरो इज कमिंग आउट द गाइडलाइंस फ्रॉम टाइम टू टाइम एंड देन regulating the
sir, since the time is very limited, I will request you to please highlight some aspects of ODL regulations.
So that's what I am touching. जो डेब ने it came out a UGC यूनिवर्सिटी ग्रांट्स का ओपन एंड डिस्टेंस लर्निंग रेगुलेशन। बाय ओपन डिस्टेंस प्रोग्राम किसी यूनिवर्सिटी में करना है तो कैसे करोगे, वो 2017 का गाइडलाइंस है, एनी इंस्टीट्यूशन कैन लुक एट इट क्लियरली कैसा करना है क्या नहीं करना है। उसके बाद यूजीसी हैज कम आउट विद रेगुलेशंस ऑफ ऑनलाइन प्रोग्राम का बढ़ावा दे रहे थे, तो उसका गाइडलाइंस है 2018 में है। सो 17 में डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन गाइडलाइंस, 18 में, लेकिन बाद में सोचा है भाई दोनों में कुछ सिमिलरिटीज है तो उसको दोनों मर्ज करके 2020 में ओडीएल प्रोग्राम्स ऑनलाइन प्रोग्राम्स का कंबाइंड रेगुलेशंस आया। उसके बाद कुछ अमेंडमेंट्स है, वो तो अमेंडमेंट तो
ओडीएल का जो हमारा रेगुलेशन है 2017 का और ऑनलाइन का जो रेगुलेशन है 2018 का, दोनों को मर्ज करने के बाद
2020 में ये
लेटेस्ट
रेगुलेशंस उसका अमेंडमेंट चल रहा है, मे बी विद मेजर अमेंडमेंट्स। आई थिंक आई अंडरस्टैंड अभी 22 तो हो ही गया, 2023 में दैट न्यू guidelines, combined guidelines may with a lot of modifications may come in 23. I think this is how now the Distance Education Bureau of IGNO, of University Grants Commission is responsible for regulatory role of distance and online program. I think
तो हमारे शिक्षक बंधु जो खास तौर से
कुछ अगर क्वेश्चंस
डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन से जुड़े हुए हैं, उनके लिए जो एक जो मार्गदर्शक जो हमारा रेगुलेशंस है, रेगुलेटरी फ्रेमवर्क है डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन ब्यूरो यूनिवर्सिटी ग्रांट्स कमिशन का, दैट यूजीसी ओडीएल
पब्लिक डोमेन में है, देख सकते हैं,
ये एक तरह से गाइडिंग प्रिंसिपल्स है कि हाउ
यू हैव टू फॉलो, यू कैन नॉट वायलेट,
दैट हैज टू बी फॉलोड।